Woohoo! Yeah, baby. What's up, guys? Welcome back for another edition of the Duval Dummies. My name's Chad. I'm the #1 dummy, and today we are going to finally put a real set of leaf springs under the old Tacoma. So I went to allprooffroad.com, which is a trail gear affiliate. There's 3 or 4 different websites that they have combined into one where you can order all the stuff that you need. I got a set of Expedition 2.0 leaf springs, which will hold up to 1,000 pounds of extra weight, because as you can see, with all this stuff back here, plus camping gear, it gets pretty heavy. So along with that, I also got a U-bolt flip kit. So this allows your top cap here, which normally would be on the bottom, up underneath, now sits on top of the axle, and there's nothing underneath the axle to get hung up on. So not that that's ever really been an issue for me, not that I'm aware of anyway, but it was something that looked cool, and I mean, all the gear, no idea, right? So I got that. I got a set of bump stops that go on top. These are from Wheeler's Off-Road. This whole U-bolt flip kit is from Wheeler's Off-Road. And then I also got a set, it came with a set of front bump stops, so we'll be replacing those as well. All the necessary hardware, a shitload of stickers, so that's nice. That's more valuable than the actual components itself. And then they also sent the kit for the bushings for the leaf springs. If you go back to my video where I put the block in, the 2-inch lift block in this, I said that that was just a temporary fix, and that one day I was going to be putting a real set of leaf packs in. Today's that day.
We're going to put the block in for now. It's not a permanent solution. Soon we're going to get an actual new leaf pack, and that'll actually solve the problem. But for now, just to get it to stop squatting, because it makes me want to throw up, we're just going to put this block in.
There, see? I told you. Now you can't call me a liar. Alright, so let's jump into it. We're not going to go step by step like super duper install. It's going to be pretty light. We're going to show you some tips and tricks maybe. We're going to do the first side off camera. That way we can get our kinks worked out, and then on the second side we'll start filming again. So we'll see you guys in a little bit with some footage on what's going on with it. So before we put the new springs on, we are at 39 1/4. After we get the springs put on, we'll check it again. 39 1/4 is what we're at now. Hopefully we're right about the same, maybe a little bit taller. Alright, so as you can see there, my leaf springs are pretty well flat. I've got a helper spring in here that's also flat. My added leaf that I added in the last video that I did my suspension on, it's pretty much flattened out, and then I have the 2-inch block. We're going to get rid of all that shit and put some real leaf springs underneath it. I have my lovely assistant Kyle here. Time to get in it. Alright, so here you can clearly see a difference in the stock leaf spring on the bottom versus the new Expedition 2.0s on top. A lot beefier. And here we'll just kind of speed up the process of what we did. We're taking off the shock bolts. Removing that lower bolt out of that shock so we can maneuver it around and move that axle around a little bit more. So next we had to drop the axle to get that 2-inch lift block out. That came out pretty easy, and then we just started taking the bolts out that holds the shackle in, and the front bolt that holds the leaf spring to the frame. It wasn't super easy, as you can see. There was some banging and some clanging going on with the hammers, but it finally came out. So your spring kit will come with a new sleeve and new rubber bushings. You have to just match those in the end. Very easy. And it goes back in the exact way it came out. So it's definitely a two-person job once you get that spring out and get it loose, because maneuvering that spring around is pretty difficult by yourself, especially the new ones. They're pretty heavy. So right here I'm putting the new U-bolts in. They're going up from underneath the axle. That top plate is where the bump stop will sit. Just kind of ratchet those down, get them tight, get everything put back on, get bolted back on, like hand tight, you know, basically. Because what you're going to want to do is once you get the truck under load, get that axle under load, that's when you're actually going to tighten everything down to torque specs. A good way to get the axle load bearing without putting the tires on it and setting it on the ground is to put jack stands up underneath the axles and then let the truck rest on those jack stands. Then you can go down and tighten everything to your factory specs. But definitely remember, after about 100 miles, to go back and check all your bolts and tighten them up again. I didn't do that. I waited for about 250 miles to check them, and by the time I went and checked it, the nut on my driver's side shock bolt had exited the chat. So I had to go get a whole new set of shock bolts. I just replaced them all. Yeah, definitely do that. Make sure that you do your 100-mile check. All right, so next we have our bump stops. This is the bump stop. This is a little plate that sets on top of the U-bolt flip kit. It comes with this big Allen bolt and a flange nut and some thread locker. Also comes with this gigantic Allen wrench. So you can pour some thread locker on there. This goes on top. Oops, other way. Like so. Pop your bolt in your socket. Get it started. Once you got it started, that goes on there. Spec. So there's that put together. 2 more sets of bolts. I need an open wrench for that. Alright, bump stop goes on. Add just some thread locker. Started. Alright, so remember these are aluminum, so don't wrench down on them too hard. And always remember that your gears on these are not for torquing stuff down. So get it tight and then flip it over and tighten it. Alright, let's chuck some tires back on, get it on the ground and see what it looks like. Big old girl now. Wow. Oh, I love it. Alright, let's get the measuring tape out. Oh boy. Alright, so that took us from 39 1/4 to 41 inches. Now obviously it's got to settle a little bit. When I ride it'll probably settle a little bit, so I'll check it in about a week and see what it is, but it brought it up 1 3/4 from what it was. So that's more than I was expecting, but I'm good with it. Alright, so this project is done. If you're going to do it at home, go for it. It's not that hard. Just watch a couple YouTube videos. I know this one wasn't a how-to exactly. It's more of just letting you see our process and what we do. But yeah, tackle it. It's easy. It's basically just a few bolts on each side, and the whole spring comes out and it goes right back in. You definitely need 2 people for when the spring does come out. Everything else is pretty much a one-man job. But yeah, it was a good time. We'll see you guys on the next one. Shouldn't be any secret. Beer 30. Oh yeah. Peace out, homies.
Jesus Christ. That's Jason Bourne.